NFL Week 10, all game picks. Look at Week 9, the week of the upset. We'll see if those upsets continue. Got some great matchups this week, starting with the Patriots and the Bucks. Great interconference matchup. They got the Steelers, Chargers, Eagles, and Packers should be the best game of the week. Start off with a Thursday night game, Raiders at the Broncos. And a great AFC West divisional matchup. Raiders and Broncos coming off different results. Raiders that tough overtime loss. Jaguars going for 2 for the win. Got to respect that decision. Very bold. Just didn't quite work out. Bo Nix and the Broncos have been very impressive. Can we believe that they are in first place comfortably, 2 games ahead of the Chiefs, who I think everyone thought would win it? Nix has shown flashes of brilliance, but really the key to that team is the defense. Right up there with the Texans, is best in the NFL. And then we think on the other side, the Raiders, the Pete and Geno experiment hasn't necessarily worked. We don't think they were able to turn back the clock. Probably looking to rebuild starting next year. Look at the Broncos to take this one 24-14 at home over their division rival. Bills at the Dolphins, and we always caution people about looking at trends and reading too much into them. When you want to look at this trend, the Dolphins, Tua is 1-9 against the Bills in his career. Josh Allen is completely dominated. We actually attended the game in which Josh Allen lost, and it was an unbelievable hot, humid day in September, which you kind of understand a team from Buffalo not playing well in South Florida in September. This was back in 2022, we believe. But you look at this team, the Bills are on a roll. We think the Dolphins are going in a completely different direction. Questionable how long they're going to keep McDaniel around. But for this game, we think it's going to be a Bills easy win, 31-21. That might be too high for the fans, maybe more like 31-14. Saints at the Panthers, and the Panthers are very quietly making the NFC South a competitive division again. Can't be maybe not dominated by the Bucs year after year. We will see, but we have to give them props for the upset of the week. 14-point dogs. Last number we saw at Green Bay, winning the game outright. Really impressive, but they were able to hold Jordan Love and that powerful offense down. Packers missed some key opportunities, maybe went for it when they shouldn't. You know, coaching hindsight is 2020, right? We love the Panthers here, 28-17 over their division rivals in Charlotte. Cardinals at the Seahawks. We are recording this on Monday before the Monday Night Football game, so we don't know how the Cardinals are going to end up, but we were very impressed what the Seahawks did on the road at Washington. What is their run right now? 9-10 straight road wins. Unbelievable what Darnold's done with that offense. Very impressive defense as well. On the flip side, we're not sure what to expect from Kyler. Brissett should be starting tonight. We're going to see how that turns out, but Kyler's been very inconsistent. But again, that Seahawks defense, what they were able to do. Bad injury to Jaden Daniels, but otherwise a great offensive performance. I think that continues here. Maybe not as explosive as against a division rival. We'd like them winning it here, 27-17, which sets us up for our next question. Who do you think is the most complete team in the NFL? Seahawks are definitely our nominee. You have Buffalo in the AFC. Green Bay has been inconsistent. Eagles, of course, always there. That's some AFC teams. Broncos surprisingly good, and out of nowhere, the Colts with Daniel Jones, despite their loss at Pittsburgh, still a really good season. So hit us up in the comments. Let us know. Rams at the 49ers, great NFC West division matchup. A rematch of an earlier game, maybe a revenge opportunity for the Rams, who lost at home to the 49ers in a turnover play game. We'll see what the Niners have on offense. We're not sure who's going to start. Is it going to be Purdy? He should be back for this game. We're, again, recording this on Monday. Don't know injury status. But when they're on, of course, they put up those numbers. That, you know, Kyle Shanahan offense is very impressive. But again, on the flip side, Sean McVay, what Puka Nacua and those receivers are able to do, and we think the key for this game is going to be Purdy and his health. Is he back? And if not, we think we have to lean towards Matthew Stafford, definitely even on the road at San Francisco. That team travels well. That offense is great. And we think the difference is the defense. The Rams' defense has improved quite a bit. We like them taking it here, 28-21. And quick question, you get your comments. What's the best division in football? We think NFC West might be a valid contender. Ravens at the Vikings, both teams getting their starting quarterbacks back in action, and what a difference that made. The Vikings with J.J. McCarthy with a shocking win at Detroit, shocking to us. Some people might have had the Vikings in that one. But Lamar, again, coming back. Great performance on the road at Miami. South Florida is not an easy place to play. Even in late October, it can still be hot and miserable. But Lamar showed that he's back in prime Lamar playing condition, and we think this game comes down to the difference between offense and defense. We think definitely the Ravens offense with Lamar back is better than what J.J. McCarthy can do. First year as a starter, no offense to him, does have great receivers, but we think the difference is going to be the Vikings defense against that Ravens offense. We're going to point to one key stat, not always matter. Lamar's only lost twice against the NFC in his career because that speed is just something you cannot simulate. So we think that's going to be the difference here, 28-21 for the Ravens, although it should be a really interesting and tight game, we think. Jaguars at the Texans, tough AFC South divisional matchup. We know this matchup well. We've been to about 5 of these games, including the very first victory Jaguars had in Houston going back a ways. But it's a very odd matchup because they typically split almost every season. Usually the road team wins. And so you might look at this game and say, okay, the road team has the advantage. But we think if Stroud plays, that's the key. And we're going to put an asterisk caveat there. He's in concussion protocol. If he may not play, if it's Davis Mills, we wouldn't touch this game. But if Stroud plays, we think we look at Trevor Lawrence, number 28 in the league in passer rating. That was before the Vegas game. We'll check the stats again, but we were stunned by that number. So if Stroud plays, we love the Texans here, 24-17. Again, lost against the Broncos, but that defense played really well. And before we continue, if you would, just join our channel. And if you like this video or find it useful, like it and then subscribe. We provide weekly NFL picks, highlights, and sports travel. Thank you. Patriots at the Bucs. Looking forward to this one. Patriots having a really good season with Drake Maye in his second year. Mike Vrabel, of course, great coach. And then the Buccaneers. Curious to see how the injuries are going to affect the depth of receiver. We think Ibuka's the only one that's left, but with Baker, you just never want to write him off. You can always find the open receiver regardless who it is. But we think the real story here is Drake Maye and what that offense has done. And then we think the difference might be on defense. He didn't have a great game against the Falcons. We think Christian Gonzalez is a true shutdown corner, all-pro caliber talent. I think that might be the difference. We think a rare road win, upset win for the Patriots over the Bucs, 28-21 in this one. And the Falcons at the Colts. Falcons were that tough game against the Patriots, coming up 1 point short of the road upset. And then we were wondering when this might happen. The Colts having to go on the road at Pittsburgh. That tough pass rush really kind of owned the Colts a little bit. 3 turnovers. We've shown the stat before. You lose 93% of the time when you lose the turnover margin 3-zip. That's exactly what happened. And then for the Falcons, again, Penix has been good. Penix has been bad. We think the key player on that team is Bijan Robinson. So if the Colts can control Robinson, we think they could shut down Penix as well. We like them returning to form at home, 27-17 over the Falcons. Giants at the Bears should be an interesting matchup here. Both these teams are playoff contenders. Giants slipping a little bit, of course, in recent weeks, but they've shown quite a bit of an effort with Jackson Dart, bringing some excitement to that offense. And then we look at the Bears. We're wondering when the Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams match would work. Seems to have been working. You can make the case they had a lucky win over the Bengals. Great game. Very entertaining, right? And look at that NFC North. Now it's in play. 4 viable contenders. Should be interesting. We like the Bears in this one by 4 over the G-Men. Browns at the Jets. On paper, this could be another 3-2 type low-scoring dud, but you never know when these teams are evenly matched as these two teams are. We think Justin Fields has that ability. Haven't seen the consistency quite yet this season. We were wondering when it's going to happen. When he's on, he can be quite good, and we think the same about Dylan Gabriel. Very accurate, but again, being a rookie, tough to see what's going on. And both these defenses are very, very good. We think the advantage is going to come down to home field in this case. We think it's going to be a 3-point game either way. We wouldn't bet this one. We like the Jets at home over the Browns, 24. And with what could be an AFC playoff preview, Steelers at the Chargers. Steelers are coming off that very impressive win over the Colts. Just really stymied Daniel Jones and that Colts offense with that Mike Tomlin pass rush, kind of a shutdown defense. And we see Aaron Rodgers playing at a pretty high level. We wonder if he's going to be able to hang right there with Justin Herbert. When you have to make the case that at this stage of their respective careers, Herbert is the better of the 2 quarterbacks, although Rodgers, you have to respect the pass. He's not the same player that he was, obviously, 10 years ago. And when we look at this one statistically, this is from our website there, that evenly matched. Look at the point differential off by 1. Yardage very close. Chargers with a slight edge. A lot of those numbers were put up before they had their injuries. But we think the advantage the Steelers have is going to be on defense. They were able to harass Daniel Jones, limit them. We think that Herbert and the Chargers now are a pass-first offense, losing 2 of their key running backs. So we think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a road upset here. We like the Steelers by 3, 24-21 over the Chargers in L.A. Lions at the Commanders, and tough NFC matchup. We were really looking forward to this one until Jaden Daniels got hurt. We thought it'd be a great game. Lions are having, again, an inconsistent season, and of course this is a rematch of last year's playoff game. Huge upset. The Commanders really eliminating the number 1 seed Lions. It was tough I have a lot of Lions fan friends. That was tough for them, really difficult defeat. And another difficulty was Jaden Daniels looked like a bad elbow. I think it's a dislocation, so that should put him out obviously for quite some time. Maybe derail the Commanders season, which should make the Commanders vulnerable to Jared Goff and that offensive attack. We think they're going to come back to form as opposed to their loss against the Vikings. We think they'll take care of the Commanders fairly easily, 28-17 at Landover. And finally, we have the heavyweight matchup of the weekend, Eagles at the Packers. These two teams have played a few times in the past couple of years. We believe they played twice last year, Eagles taking both of those. This one, of course, is in Lambeau, maybe a slight advantage to the Packers. But, wow, they didn't play like it against the Panthers. Not sure what was going on. We varied from ranking them the number one team in the NFC to maybe around 6. We're not sure. The Eagles, same thing. We were really on the Eagles bandwagon last year, had them picked in the Super Bowl. We thought that adding Barkley was a huge advantage, huge edge. It's continued this season. You can make the case they're not as dominant this year, but still a really, really good team. Maybe a little bit more vulnerable in the secondary compared to last year's dominant pass defense. We think it's going to be so close. We wouldn't bet this one, but we picked the Packers here 28-24 in what should be a very entertaining game. Really, we want to see if the Packers can win these big games. We see a little bit of playing up and playing down to their competition.
That's all for this time. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to sharing our future videos with you.